from what you saw out there tonight?
There were some good things out there. There were some guys that, when the lights came on, they really turned it on, and I'm proud to see that. Proud to see that, there are some players that helped contribute game one. The biggest thing was, just the penalties, whether it's young guys or veteran guys making them. We got to cut down on those to give ourselves a chance to win every game.
Are your decisions easier or tougher after tonight?
Well, I can honestly say some guys may have played themselves on the roster and some guys may have played themselves off. But that's just initial reaction. We have to go back through and look at the film and sit down with management and see how to shape it. But, some guys really stood out, and, we had to go forth with that.
How much of the O-line's improvement tonight was personnel and how much was coaching?
Well, they're a work in progress. And, we did have some added personnel, but, for the most part, it was still that core. And like I said, Chris Sweet's been doing a good job with those guys and working hard with them. But I think they're starting to gel, and, we're starting to do some good things on offense.
Were you happy with what you saw out of Labatt?
Say it again?
Were you happy with what you saw out of Labatt?
Well, that was one of the things that I had to see. The game's moving so fast. I'm trying to see everyone. I'm not focused just on one person. But I'll go back and look at it, but I'm glad that he made it through, and I think he probably did a good job, but I have to check and see.
Are you going to be giving the Regina Thunder some bad news when it comes to Zach Evans?
I'd say yeah on that one.
Brandon West is sick to his stomach in there. He said he lost the game for the team. His fumble cost the team 3 points. What do you say to a young man who...
Well, there's no one play, that wins and loses a game. There's several plays, and whether you look at we got to have ball security, you look at the untimely penalties, you can look at the ball going out of bounds. There's a couple of things that, even though it's preseason, whether it's a young guy or whether it's an older guy, we expect you to play like a veteran. It's pro football, so there's no one play.
Would Corey Sheets be one of those guys that played his way onto the roster, and could you just comment on his play tonight?
Corey did some good things. He was pretty excited out there, and he brought some excitement to it, and he electrified the crowd, and he had some good runs. There was a 3rd and 1, or excuse me, a 2nd and 1 or 2. He cut back. I thought he should have stuck it in there. So he's doing some good things, but he has some things to learn. But he's one of those guys that I can honestly say that probably started at the bottom and worked his way up, and I'm proud to see that.
Think of your team's pass rush over that game?
We weren't able to evaluate or able to see Odell as much as we wanted to, but it was enough to get us 2 takeaways, so that's a positive. And like I said, we didn't run a lot of twists or things like that, so it'd be one of those areas that I have to look at when it comes to the film.
What's his status,
Odell, I think Odell will be ready to go. It was one of those things to where, there's no use in putting him out there and pushing through it. If it was a regular game, we would have, but it was just preseason.
When it comes to the game, clearly you were looking for the victory. You had 3 guys in the end zone, including one of your kickers and Weston Dressler. How important was it to you to get a W in this preseason?
Well, like I said, it was electrifying at the end with the fans. So, that's one of those things where you definitely want to get the win. But at the same time, that we have to see each player play that we've designated to play. We weren't going to say, let's put this guy in instead of that guy. I'll give you a classic example was when Sonoris went down, there were some guys hollering for Weston Dressler, and we was like, no, it's Ismail Bamba. That's who it is, and he showed up. So no matter who we put in, we expect those guys to help us win.
Were you happy with your quarterback play tonight with all 3?
I was pretty happy with the quarterback play. I think they're still learning. I think they're doing a good job in learning everything that Kahari's teaching them, and they did make some big plays. I was impressed with Drew Willie. Like I said, he throws a good deep ball, and he showed up. And then 17, JT did some good things, and of course Darian looked back to old form, taking off when he needs to, throwing those in there. So I'm proud of that play, and I know that we'll continue to progress in that area.
Where does this leave Levi Brown?
Levi's a guy that we have plans for him, but we can only see 3 right now. So at this point, we have to sit down and see how the roster shapes up. But we know what he can do also.
How long is your night going to be tonight into tomorrow morning?
It's going to go. It's going to be because we still had to evaluate the film. Then we have to decide on who's going to make cuts and also look around the league and see what other people may have already done or what they will do to see how we're going to shape this team for game 1.
What are your thoughts on your linebackers?
That's an area that I'd also like to look at. I saw some guys. Darren Stone made some plays, ran down a couple of guys, and I think that we were solid on the run. And there's a couple times when they got us, corners got us earlier, but for the most part, like I said, weren't long creases, and there was some negative yardage plays in the run game. So I think we should be good in that area.
Fans will say exhibition games don't matter. At least some will. I know players say they want to win every time they step out in the field. Is that your mentality? And how disconcerting is it if it is that you're 0-2?
Well, the big thing about it is you want to win every one, but like I said, we didn't have everything in the gun tonight. We talked about it. I talked to Craig. I said, hey, do we have an onside kick? Do we have those things? Do we have a block in? We didn't have a field goal block in. It was one of those things where, it was hopefully he missed it. But if that was live, then we'd have pull out all the stops to make sure that, hopefully he doesn't make that field goal. You always want to win because that's the way we're built. But at the same time, we're not going to win doing things that, are not positive.
Where are you going into week 1 of the regular season from where you wanted to be or where you thought you'd be at this time?
Tonight let us know that, we're on the right track. Defensively, we'll still look at some cover guys, and, we didn't play all the guys that we wanted to play tonight, so that was kind of tough. Offensively and special teams, I think we did some good things. So we're close to where we want to be. We just had to keep on pushing, and then once we cut down the roster, it's easier to teach that small amount of guys than the bigger amount of guys.
Would you like to carry all 4 quarterbacks?
That'd be awesome if we can get it done.
Odell, obviously, we talked about his injury. Is there anything else that concerns you as far as the injury front goes, or do you know?
No, not at this point. I had met with the medical staff. I didn't see anything that was too strange out there, so I think we've pretty much made it out healthy tonight.
How did you do dealing with game speed as a coach?
I've been a coordinator, been a DB in this league, so the coaches are doing a good job coaching. I just got to make sure that, keep my head in the game and make sure know what down it is and not get caught up too much with the offense or the defense. But it was exciting tonight.
What was it like to see the atmosphere for the first time up close?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Like I said, especially toward the end, it was electrifying. And, those are the kind when it gets like that you want to close it out in a positive manner. So those are the things that we'll go back and make sure that, we do close those out in a positive manner.